Oh, it's come up.
Okay. Tam gati gati paragati parasam gati bodhiswatyata om gati gati paragati Samgati bodhiswatyata om gati gati paragati parasamgati 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 bodhiswaha. Okay. Shubhami?
Come.
Okay, maybe one or two questions. Yes.
So, Geshe, with respect to the topic of emptiness, it's a very lay question, but I was thinking from a science point of view that the laws which we study in physics, especially gravity, rotational, and because of which very advanced inventions and discoveries were done. For example, escape velocity, and we could reach this space, and aerodynamics. So, are laws also empty of objective reality? For example, law of karma. So, in itself, is it dependent on something? Law of karma is law of cause and effect, but it in turn, is it also dependent on something?
Everything is dependent on something else.
So,
Everything. In the law of karma, what is law of karma? For the law of karma, basically the agent, act, and the object on which the action is conducted. For example, the act of generosity, karma of generosity, benefactor, beneficiary, and the act of benefiting. Three things must be there. If any of these three things is missing, the act makes no sense. Without the agent, the act and the beneficiary makes no sense. Without the beneficiary, the act and the benefactor makes no sense. So without the act, the benefactor and the beneficiary makes no sense. So law of karma When you speak of law of karma, they should be, in terms of the karma itself, they should be the action, actor, and the object on which the action is acted. Then in terms of the effect, karmic effect. Karma is the cause and effect is the result. So just the result comes into being by dependence on the karma. Karma also makes sense with dependence on the result. There's a mutuality dependence. So we think more in terms, for example, let's say we think in a linear form. For example, say the children are dependent on the parents. Okay, the children, they are so vulnerable, weaker. Parents are stronger, so they depend on parents. So linear way. But in actuality, what we are talking about here is very subtle. Just as the children depends on the parents also depends on the children. Because the parents, to make sense as the parents, only if there's a children, the parents make sense. So there's a mutuality of dependence. Even the Buddha, Tathagata is also dependent on other things. So we said that everything is dependent on other things. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes.
So we read every morning this 8 words for training the mind. Verse number 5, when others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. So what is the defeat that I'm supposed to take and what is the victory that I'm giving to the person? Is it related to this practice of taking suffering of others with emphasis on compassion and practice of giving your happiness to others with on emphasis on love and kindness?
Loving kindness.
Yes.
Answer is yes. Yes. That is the practice of Tonglen. So defeat and victory. Give victory to others and take defeat on myself. So the point is that so basically 8 verse of mind training is to is to subdue to crush this self-centered attitude. This idea is not to crush the self. Now the point is that to crush the self-centered attitude. So how we crush the self-centered attitude is to let the mind feel that. Let the mind feel that. Okay, so basically the idea is here we have to practice love and affection. And love and affection very intensely. When you practice it very intensely, when you start feeling that, then it is like the mother and the child. I don't know how many of you have really experienced that. You must have experienced that, or you may have forgotten that. I've seen that many times. Say, if there is tea for you, the mother, and the tea for the child, and it's winter, let's say it's very cold, and everybody craves to drink the warm tea. And the mother's tea is warm, and the child is already very cold. Then what will the mother do?
Give her tea.
Replace it. Right? The fresh one, the mother gives to the child, and the child's the stale one, the mother drinks it. So this is, take the better one, give the better one to the child, and take the worse one upon yourself. Why this happening? If this is how it happens in the world, everywhere in the world is going to be a beautiful place. Right? Yet this is not happening. Everything good one takes, and the bad things left, or destroyed the other side. Right? So this is the idea. So here basically there is 2 things happening. We need to keep in mind 2 things. These are all the very skillful exercises. The idea is to build. By the way, what's the idea? The idea is to build the love and affection, or to build this action of benefiting others and get taking the
Action.
Build the loving kindness.
build the love and action, build the love and kindness within, or build the action.
Do the action.
To do the action. Okay, that's interesting. Any idea why all these practices are being done? To build the feeling of love and affection within, or to build a feeling of love and affection in order to act, to benefit others, or to do this exercise in order to build the love and affection inside?
Mind training. So essentially, it's you are training your mind.
To do.
So basically, to do that in order to train the mind, or to train the mind in order to do that.
Train the mind to do.
It's there is an interdependence.
Exactly, there's a mutuality of dependence. The point is, the more you train, the more you can do it. The more you try to do it, the more it is trained. Right? This beautiful thing, two things, they are mutually dependent, mutually benefiting. Right? So therefore, it is that same in your own room. You do it to enhance the practice, and sometimes you might even have to say mentally visualize that you're actually giving things, you're taking the stuff from yourself. This is what you're doing, page step number 5, right? And then when you actually go out, try your best to see that to the best you can, you are applying them in your practice. To the best you can. I'm not saying that you have to, that if you can't do it 100%, then what's the point? This is where people are, say, going wrong. For example, say, the moment you start coming to the Bodhichitta center, right? And then the next day, say you are a little upset with something in your house, and your parents will say, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, they will say, what's the point of going to Bodhichitta center?
Yes.
You are the same person, right? Same short-tempered person. Right? This is how we expect that you go to a certain type of center, and then the next day you should become a Buddha. How difficult it is to transform. We don't know that, right? And some people, they said, what for you going? Retreat, you already went there last time, right? You already went to the class right there. So, puja, do it once and it's finished, right? One year, one time, is good. You already do it. What are you doing there? Right? And what is this man teaching you? Right? What are you doing there? What for you going there? Right? They think it's just one time your ritual. Right? They don't know that there's a transformation happening. There's a rich intellectual learning happening. They don't know that. Okay, so the point is that, why did you say this?
To the mystics.
Profits and
Taking others,
practicing
at home.
Okay, so basically it's a practice. It's a practice. We have to do it both ways. You're getting it, say at home, you do it mentally, and when you go out, practically do that. When you go out, practically do that to the best you can. It's not that if you are not able to do it fully, then what's the point? This is not the case. Try your best. For example, let's say, okay, last time I started the story and then I digressed. Did I mention about lettuce?
Yes.
Yes.
Then what happened?
Instead, you noticed he was not there
The
yesterday.
elderly person in the story, you mentioned some elderly person and then noticed he was not there.
I see. No, Narimanji is very young. He's just 65, right?
64.
Just 63, 64. Not even 64 actually. 63.
I think 64.
Yeah, this is 63. 63 is nothing. Yeah. So
Much. Too much.
literally, it's nothing.
Huh?
I mean it. I'm not joking. Right? In the West, 70 is nothing. 70 people, they say it's like the prime of the life. 70, you literally, 70 is prime. The 90, we become little, still they are very independent. Though they are independent, we see that they are little haggard, right? Otherwise, 70 is the prime, 50, 60 is baby.
Life will say, go ahead, get married.
Okay, now the Naramanji already found a new life. Right? with the friends there, now it's a very different life, right?
Yes.
Yeah, coming to the Bodhichitta center, found a different life. Okay, so with this, the point is that the lettuce. It was many years ago. Many years ago, and one of the elderly person, he very kind person, and then I said I went to buy some vegetables, but the vegetables were not good. And he said, what happened? Vegetables, there are many
Insects.
white worms, or the what exactly are insects? Do we call them insects or
Yeah,
insects?
Yeah.
Not worms.
Insects.
Insects. Yeah, tiny insects, right? Okay.
All creatures.
Or creatures.
Sentient beings.
Okay. And then I said that I didn't buy it. So he took it very differently. He said, no, that's fine. Then we just wash them in the hot water. Why I'm not buying it? It's not because that I cannot wash them. They're going to die. Right? When I cook it, wash it, whatever, they're going to die. So finally, I don't want to let them die. This is the point. And the person, and then my friend corrected. My friend, another friend corrected him. No, he meant something else. Right? What are you doing is exactly what he doesn't want. Right? Okay, so the point is that, take care of, try best to give, first thing, not to harm others. Not to harm others, including the tiny insects, mosquitoes, and so forth. Literally, including the insects, mosquitoes, for example, on the ground, you may see ants moving. And sometimes there can be so many ants, then practically we cannot pick up everything. But where it is more clean, then once in a while there are ants, or very slow moving ants there. You pick them up, put them on safe place. Right? These things practice that we have to learn. So by doing this, the basic framework of your mind becomes compassionate and loving. Right? Loving. Okay. And then say, okay, meanwhile we should be very skilled, extremely skilled. Extremely skilled. And then taking care of for example, the dogs, cats, these things. Just see how, for example, sometimes I also used to go to extremes. When I was in my 20s, 21, 22, in the institute, we're not entitled to keep any dogs. Right? Because one monk bring a dog, and another monk will a dog, all his children will go full of dogs. Right? So that's practically not allowed. Right? That's understandable. But what happened was why I'm saying this is, in our life, see how much we can practically do things. This is the point. Particularly pertaining to love and affection. Right? Try your best. I don't want to say that if you cannot do it, 100%, what's the point of coming 42? This is not the point. Right? Let us not misunderstand it. But practically see how you can do it, and then build a basic trend of your mind towards that direction. What happened, that was, I think, when I was age 21, I think 21. 20 or 21. So newly enrolled in the monastery, Institute of Buddhist Texts. And from the monastery I was going to, I think, towards Tibetan Children's Village School, TCV School, Dharamsala. How many of you have been there to Dharamsala? TCV School, did you see that school? There are many schools there, one on the hilltop. So from the main temple, our institute are in the main temple. From there to go, it will take about 30, 40 minutes. It was raining. And then I always Maghrib Ganj. From the Maghrib, then I was going out towards the school. Then on the road, motor road, in the middle, rain pouring, in the middle there was a dog. And is not at all likely to be seen a dog standing in the rain. Dogs don't do that. Very unlikely. The dogs will simply run away. into some shade or whatever. They will not sit in the just the middle of the, and that in the middle of the road. Any car can run over, right? And rain pouring, still the dog is sitting like this. Very young dog, not big, young. And the face, how the dog was looking at the people, is as well as so the loving, like this. And I passed the dog. And then suddenly the thought came to me, this is very unlikely. It's not really like it's not really that dogs will behave like this. It's rain, it will not sit in the middle of the, and it's a very busy traffic. The dog will not sit there in the middle. And it's pouring, the dog will run away. Why this dog is sitting there? There's something wrong with this dog. This is what I felt. I passed the dog already. And then I came back. Luckily, there's another friend of mine, two of them are there, two of us are there. And then I tried to just pet the dog, and the dog's not moving. The dog's very loving. And I pet the dog and tried to move the dog could not move. Then I realized that bottom is paralyzed. Bottom is paralyzed, just the top is moving, and he cannot move. Literally, actually it's she. Literally could not move, because paralyzed, whole body paralyzed. And what to do? In the middle somehow she got there, and she had to sit like this, rain showering, and the car's going, she had to sit like this. So then I told my friend, okay, now there's no point in going to a TC school, we'll take the dog down and to what is that? Vet. Take the vet. We hired a taxi, then we took, and then I started taking care of the dog. So first I took it in my room. In my room I was sharing a room with Aaron mom, right? And the other mom is very kind, no complaint, right? And it put everything there, the dog. So I was cleaning, giving food, and then I was scolded by the administration section. And then there's nothing to be done, so I moved the dog to another place, but all going to visit him. And then the one cook of the institute, he's also very caring, loving, and very compassionate, helping me to always make sure that the dog is taken care of. And it was terribly cold winter. And then both of us, we were taking turn to go to look after the dog there. Then sometimes snow outside, right? And we covered him with some wet blankets or whatever, and give him food on time. And in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m., snow, very cold, 2 a.m., the dog would cry, and I would get up, go there to take care of what is happening there. So these are things which I remember having done this. And today, when I look back in time, as a very young boy, I feel so happy that such a thing. So what I'm saying is that just see in what way they can be of, practical benefit to somebody, and it's not that it's only with the human beings or cats and dogs, not only cats, but even the tiny insects, right? Say for example, in your house, sometimes small insects can be there around your basin, in the washroom, so to make sure that their dog just, carelessly just drained, washed into the main gutter. So all these things should be taken care of. Okay, so these are things, see what can be done. Okay, now step number 4 and 5. Step number 4, already we took the 3 kinds of suffering of the beings with with emphasis on compassion. Okay, now step number 5. What's step number 5? What is step number 5? Practice of giving happiness to others with emphasis on loving kindness. Very good. Okay, so here then what we do is that we give as we breathe out. As we breathe out, the as we breathe out, then we give things to the beings. How? So giving, generosity, giving is of four kinds. Four generosities, four kinds of generosities. Number one, generosity of material resources. Number one, generosity of material resources. Number two, generosity of love and affection. Three, generosity of protection. Four, generosity of dharma. Generosity of material resources, generosity of love and affection, generosity of protection, and generosity of dharma. Four. Okay. And generosity of dharma also. Generosity of dharma, again, generosity of dharma. Let's say the three plus 1. Generosity of dharma, 3 plus 1. Right?
Okay.
Okay. One is the dharma of renunciation, which we know, dharma of renunciation. Renunciation, right? Then number 2, the dharma of bodhichitta. Then number 3, the dharma of the wisdom of emptiness. Then number 4, the dharma of non-dual, dharma of the wisdom of non-duality, wisdom of non-dual wisdom of bliss and emptiness. The dharma of non-dual wisdom of bliss and emptiness. Okay. So what we said was that the two things, say, the action of giving, will untangle the knot in substance attitude, and actually practicing the love and affection, that will make you engage in the action of giving more effectively. There's a mutuality of dependence, mutuality of benefits. Okay, first the generosity of the material resources. So what we do is that we breathe out. As we breathe out, we take a deep breath out. As you take a deep breath out, imagine that all the good qualities that you have. First, the generosity of material resources. Material resources are the results of virtues, particularly the virtue of giving. Say, all the virtues of yours, and they are being transmitted in the form of, say, the white nectar, white light from your right nostril. It goes out, and the moment they touch the beings, they transform into the material resources. For example, say for food, shelter, clothing, and whatever the material things people require, these transform into this form, and then, as I say, the problems are solved. So this is what we do. What we should be doing 3 times as we breathe out. We can do it more. So generally speaking, you do it 3 times. And then after this, again, then what is next? First one is material resources. Number 2 is? Love and affection. So many people, they suffer from the deprivation of love and affection. Many people. So particularly people who go through depression, stress, anxiety. One thing they need is love and affection, assurance from other people. Don't worry, things will happen, don't worry. Right? We're always there. Somebody to give you assurance, somebody to listen to you, and somebody to say somebody to act like say a protector, with love and affection. This is number 2. So there, are people who are almost on the verge to give up hope. Give up hope. Because you see, these people, they think that now the world is just meaningless. Everyone's so cruel. Everything's so nasty. The world. This is how they project the world. And then to let them know that this is not reality. Right? This is not reality. I'm there. Right? I'll take care of you. So just tell me whatever the reasons that you have, what the problems that you tell me, I will listen to you. Right? I'm there to reassure you that you go, all right, don't worry. There must be somebody to give reassurance. And that will happen only if you have a feeling of concern for the other person. That is love and affection. And that is so important. Otherwise, they will say somebody who is wealthy, somebody who is already very popular, somebody who is, say, competent. For these people, we go to give love and many people will come. Right? Those who really deserve, right? These people remain neglected. So there, and in fact, we will discover that who otherwise remain neglected, they are the most kind person for you to practice love and affection, right? Love and affection towards your very near and dear ones, towards somebody who is affluent, somebody who is competent, somebody who is physically so young, healthy, and so forth. For them to express such love and affection is very easy. Particularly somebody who is very kind. To express love and affection to somebody who is very kind, gentle, is very easy, right? In school, okay, is there anybody who has the experience to teach in schools? 1, 2. Okay, schools, say 2 of you just tell me whether you agree with me or not. Teachers, right? To show love and affection, to concern towards the most obedient students. That is most likely, that's the easiest. It naturally happens, right? And you say, don't do that. This boy or this girl will listen to you, be very obedient, and you feel connected easily. And some very mischievous boys and girls are there, right? Don't do it, they will do the opposite, right? And you become so upset, so angry. So therefore, many of the teachers, what they say is that with this teaching job, after maybe like 15, 20 years, by then the students that you taught, they already became grown up, right? So, and if you try to recollect those students 20 years ago, from which students come to your mind? The best students and the most naughty students, right? True? These come, yeah, these two.
Yeah.
These two come. Naughty students, because I had a tough time because of this boy. Right? Usually the boys. Right? And oh, I remember, so those days the students are so good, like this boy, like this girl. Right? Nowadays the students, this is always, every year people are saying like this. It's so like now the time has become a demonic time. Right? But that's not true. Right? This is how we think. Okay, so because we are emotionally attached to the students to whom we have already taught. Okay, so there, the point is that if somebody is sensible, kind, loving, and then if the person is a little poor, financially poor, then to give love and affection is very easy. Right? You give love and affection, and automatically the response is given to you. So positive response. But there are some who just do the opposite, right? You help, and instead of say the receiving gift with so much gratitude, no gratitude, they try to take advantage of you, right? And then you feel this is so nasty. Except for this person, I'll join Bodhichitta. Except for this person, you're getting it. So these things happen. So these are the people. If you cannot practice compassion to these people, you cannot become Buddhas, right? So what can easily be done to do something which one can do easily. This is not really practice. Practice means something that you learn to do, which is difficult, which the other people cannot do, which the ordinary people cannot do. So that is we have to do. And for that matter, you have to be able to show that your love and affection pervades unconditionally, even to this nasty person. It pervades unconditionally. For that matter, your love and affection doesn't go towards that person, which means that this is your weakness. You're getting it? Who told you that you have this weakness? This person tells you, right? Because the moment you show love and affection, that person does not fit there. You see that your love and affection gets stuck there. It doesn't flow. Okay, so that person deserves the maximum love and affection. So, if practically, physically, if you cannot do that, don't worry, mentally do it. Right? Mentally, don't deprive anyone of love and affection. At least mentally. That is so important. Okay, so this is giving love and affection, number 2. Then what is number 3?
Protection.
Protection. Okay, protection, this is a very serious matter. For example, let's say in the places like Iraq, Kuwait, Syria, where else? Afghanistan, Nigeria, all these places, how many innocent people are dying, losing their life, right? Losing their life. And then because of the gender discrimination, how many suffer unnecessarily. So, just keep in mind all these people who go through this nightmare of the loss of life, nightmare of the threat to the life, right? And imagine that as you breathe out, again the same thing as you breathe out, imagine that so what gives us the fearlessness? What gives us the fearlessness? The wisdom of emptiness. In this world, believe it or not, we must get the conviction eventually that the most fearless mind in this universe is wisdom of emptiness. The most fearless mind. Literally I'm saying this. Right? I'm not just metaphorically saying this. Literally. Anything wrong, including the fear of death, is there if you could meditate on emptiness. The moment this experience of emptiness comes to you, instantly the fear dissolves. Literally, it is the one which dissolves all your fears. This is the most fearless mind. And the most beautiful mind is Bodhichitta. Most beautiful mind. The moment you feel like crying. It's so beautiful mind. It dissolves all corrosion. This Bodhichitta. So what we want is we want the fearlessness. We're to get rid of all the fears. That is done by the wisdom of emptiness. And we want to get the infinite happiness. That is done by the Bodhichitta. Right? So these two minds. Okay. So there, for the fearlessness, again, as you breathe out, all your virtues, strength, the power, whatever you have, imagine that you send them all through in the form of white nectar, white light from your right nostril. Then it goes down to all the beings who feel the threat to their life. Who feel threat to their life. Just the moment it connects with them, so these transform. The virtues, they transform in the form of Aravajapani, Aramanjushri, Aravarotishvara, and so forth. And then they reassure that, don't worry, there's no fear to your life, I'm there to safeguard your life. Right? One. And then, for example, say practically speaking, for example, say let's say that the people in the hands of the terrorists, among the fear that they go through, they don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. Right? So there, imagine, you can be creative. You can be creative, and you send these natural virtues there. Because of these virtues, imagine that these terrorists, their mind changes. Their mind changes, right? Instead of anger and so forth, their mind changes, their mind mellow down, and they become very loving, caring, they regret, and then let go the prisoners, right? And the prisoners meet with their parents, meet with their children, the amount, the joy that they feel, be very dramatic. The more you feel that, make it dramatic and feel that, right? Just imagine say through your effort, if somebody is released from the prison, and when that person otherwise is going to be spend the whole life, and through your effort, the person is released, and the person meets with a very loving mother, right? Very loving, say the mother in the age like 90, who is so the vulnerable, say always remembering about the son, remembering about the daughter there, and suddenly made. Just tell me what's the intensity of the joy. So much of intense joy. When you feel that, you'll feel that, wow, I did something good. I made somebody happy. So the moment you feel it, your compassion, the seed is intensifying. It is becoming intense. It is intense. And then that's the attitude, the knot is being unentangled. You're getting it? Okay, this is what we should be doing. And then practically speaking, in India, the one thing which is extremely good about India is the vegetarianism. This is so good, so good. Okay, so there, what I say is that if you're already vegetarian, wonderful. And so whether you how you promote vegetarianism, that is up to the individual. And some are very aggressive, right? Aggressively vegetarian, right? Okay, so the aggressive vegetarian meaning they just demonize the people who are non-vegetarian, right? Right? These are even worse than animals, right? Okay, this is too much from my point of view, right? But how you promote vegetarian in any way, whatever you promote, that's your business. But I personally would say that if somebody wants to promote vegetarianism, I would very much encourage them to do in a skillful way. Skillful way, not offender. Finally, the benefit must be felt, right? Sometimes we are being so aggressive, and then people who are non-vegetarian, who are on the verge to become vegetarian, they also give up, right? Okay, no, now I'm going to continue non-vegetarian. Look at this person, they demonize me. Okay, now I'm demon, right? They're on the verge to go to vegetarian, right? And then those people who eat meat, you are demon, you are worse than the demon, right? Even the demons, they don't really plan like this. Mass killing, you are doing that. And then people who are on the verge, they say demoralize, okay, now I'm demon, right? Okay, so let be it, right? This is very unskilled. Finally, whether you do it aggressively, whether you do it gently, effect must be there. More people should be joining it, right? Okay, it's not just one time. It should be a continuous effort, right? More and more people should be joining. It's not that today everybody should be vegetarian. It's not that the Buddha came and the Buddha did not make everybody Buddhist. Jesus Christ came and he did not make everybody Christian, right? And then Prophet Muhammad came and he did not convert everything into Muslim, right? So therefore the point is that if these enlightened beings, if they cannot convert everybody to their tradition, how can we, the ordinary people, can think of to convert everybody in vegetarian, right? Okay, we should be very skillful. Okay, so with this mind, so if my take is that if somebody is non-vegetarian, then that person, say, for example, attending to the Bodhichitta retreat, from there, okay, I learned one thing, or I cannot be pure vegetarian, but say, usually I take every day some meat. Now, I'll take only 2 days, only 2 days a week, bi-weekly, right? And then in some cases, okay, henceforth I'll stop chicken. I may eat other things, but I'll stop chicken because chicken is something different. Chicken, if you go to buy the chicken, the people will not say, okay, finish, come tomorrow. They will say, wait for 5 minutes. Whereas if you are to buy a big meat, right, and it is not gone, it is finished there, they cannot do it right away just for 1 kg, 2 kg, they will not do any work today, they will say come tomorrow, right? So whereas, so the chicken, so there is more direct, you being responsible for the death of this chicken is more direct. You buy it and then my one is already dead, I bought that one. You bought it, but the next person comes and the person does not, because you bought it. For the next person, the butcher will say, wait for 5 minutes. Why the other person didn't get the chickens? Because you bought it, right? So from this we see that we are more closely connected. So you may say that, okay, I cannot become total vegetarian, but I will stop the chicken. So, and then even if you cannot stop anything, mentally, if you feel that, okay, somehow I admit that this is not really too good thing, right? Good thing. Even this much you do, this is a great success. Earlier, you have no feel whatsoever, and now at least you're feeling that, okay, I rejoice that others who are vegetarian, I really rejoice. I cannot do it myself, but they are doing it amazing, so good. You rejoice in others, even that is so good, right? This is the point. Okay, so this comes under the section what? Giving protection to others' life, and then KFC. Right. This is one thing which I don't know. So this is my personal take. My personal take that I tell people that if chicken, particularly chicken, if chicken grows like potatoes or grows like cauliflower, I would eat chicken every day. But no, chicken doesn't grow like cauliflower, right? Somebody has to lose life. Somebody has to give up life, right? Why for once, just 5 minutes delicious food, somebody has to give life?
Geshe, there's a very strong argument that even plants are life, and in science we've been reading everything is grass. So, this is a very strong counter argument.
Okay, so basically the point is there's no really counter argument. It's very easy. One thing is the plants and the animals, we have to make a distinction. Life, plants, are they living? Answer is yes. Are they living beings? No. They're living things. They're not living beings. Living things is fine, it's not a problem. Living beings is a problem, because living beings have the feeling of pain. Why human rights is considered to be so important? Why the human rights is considered? Because it's connected with the feelings. We're not robots, right? If there's a group of robots, like 100 robots are being smashed, nobody will say that these robots, we feel pity to the robots. Right? We'll say that the owner of the robot, we feel pity to the owner of the robots. He lost so much of money. Right? We don't feel pity to the robots. So the plants have life. Because they have life, they are living things. They are not living beings. Animals and human beings, they are living things as well as living beings. So we fight for human rights and so forth because of being living beings, not because of living things. Right?
If somehow your spiritual practice, this rituals lighting a candle and all, even if you take utmost care, sometimes the flies, they get burned. So
okay. So now these are the practical aspects. If say this is lighting there, candle lights are put on, and if there are some places there are so many insects, I would say put off the flames. If possible, put a bulb, electric light, not the water lamp. You're getting it? These are the practicalities. The Buddha's teachings are grounded on compassion, and people, generally speaking, people are so rigid. Not all, people are so rigid, right? Oh, a teaching said offering light is so important, right? And there's so many insects are coming, they're being killed by this light, still they offer the light, right? If the Buddha is there, the Buddha would not agree with this, right? So Buddha's teaching is grounded in compassion. First thing is, why offering light? So the compassion can be activated. Compassion is being killed, right, in the moment. This is practically speaking. So, you say, if there's the insects, so much insects there, don't light thing, right? If there's no, the electric light, fine, remain in dark and practice Bodhichitta, right? Practically speaking. Okay, one. Then, say the insects are not so often. Once in a while insects come, but they jump into the flame, then what should we do? So there, if you really sense it, one, two is exception. No exception. No exception. Right? No exception. 1, 2 exception, no exception. What do we do? Okay, once you notice that, okay, this is not good. Then we have to buy the glass cover. Beautiful glass cover which we use for the lanterns. Right? Buy these and cover there, and the insects will not go in there. Right? Okay. So the KFC. Okay, so the point is, Buddha's teaching says, there are so many unique features. There are two unique features there. One is, no matter what, the Buddha's teaching is grounded in compassion. Don't forget it, number one. No matter what, whether it's a Theravada teaching, whether it's a Vahana teaching, whatever, all teachings of the Buddha grounded must be, the basic ground is compassion. One. Number two, that we should be very realistic. That we should be realistic. Right? Okay. So if there are more points coming up, your thoughts, questions coming up, I would be happy to address them. Okay, now we finished with the
Protection.
The protection. So you can be creative. You can be creative. For example, say I remember in Australia, in one of the hotels, I saw glass water tank, a small water tank, and in it, small, not big, small water tank. In it, a big fish was there, and a big crab this size, crab was there. They could hardly move. Right? And what I saw when I'm in India, what I saw, the beautiful aquariums, right? This size, proportionately, the fish, they are very small. They can swim very, freely, and it's also very beautiful to look at. So in that hotel, no, it's not at all for the decoration, right? The fish is so big, and the aquarium, the space is very small, and still it did not come to my mind why. Right? No, this is not aquarium. It's not really nice to look at. Even it's not really for decoration also. And then a cook came. Then I asked the cook, "What is this?" And the cook was puzzled. What is this person asking? Right? It's so obvious. This was his expression. He said that for eating. Then after a few minutes, then the cook came and then picked up the crab and went to the Geshe. So what I'm saying is that when we do this practice of the giving of protection, we can bring in these experiences. Imagine that you are trapped you are in that situation, and then somebody's picking up that, and then I say mentally, right? This is what I'm saying. And physically, if you can do it. So mentally, this barbecue is something doable. So mentally, you, as well as you go to the hotel management or the cook and tell them, then please release this, and then you want how much money, I'll pay, right? And then if you want to do it more dramatically, if you can do it, if you cannot, don't force yourself. Listen. Let's finish this. If you can, do it. If you cannot, if it is too much, don't do it. Right? Okay. So then, mentally, talk to the cook or the hot management that if you really have to boil someone alive there, boil meat, not this, let this crab, be released and meet with his or her friends, parents, children, whatever. And if you really have to boil somebody there alive, let me go there. And imagine that he's throwing you into the hot boiling oil. And what is your feeling? Hey,
Suffering.
not just suffering,
Pure white love.
right? That's just, you become hysterical, paranoid, right? You become crazy. Okay, so there, when you feel that, although you're mentally doing that, when you feel that, now I'm finished, when you feel that there's a jerk happening in your body like this, what is affected? Self-centered attitude is affected. That is affected, right? Whereas if you find it too much, it's not that everybody can do it. If you cannot do it, don't do it. Just give money, right? And then the no crabs today, just visualize that, right? And then when your compassion, courage, these things grow more, then later on, at one point, you can do it. You can do it, right? So this is the Buddha's message. Buddha said that where, say you're giving your bodies, like the lungs, then what nowadays, kidney donation is happening, liver is happening, eyes, while you're still alive. Kidney and what?
Blood is
Skin.
going to
Skin.
blood.
Okay, blood is fine.
Bone marrow.
Yeah.
Bone marrow. Okay, let's say. So those where your life is at risk, like giving kidney, where if the hospital is not too sophisticated, right? Other person lost life, you also lose life. These things happen. With such a risk, there the Buddha said that unless your practice of compassion becomes very sophisticated and very intense, don't do this physically, do this mentally. This is what the Buddha advised. You're getting it? In the end, if you're going to regret, in the end, if there's a tendency that you will regret over having donated your kidney or whatever, right? If there's a tendency, then the Buddha said, don't do it. Getting it? This is very important. Okay, so where you can do, fine, without any problem, you can do it. Your compassion grows. Buddha himself did all these exercises, right? Buddha himself in the Nepal, there's one place where Buddha, one of the former times, he gave his body for the hungry tigress who was otherwise about to eat her own babies. So the Buddha, as a young prince, he gave his body there. So the Buddha himself performed all this himself. So through his experience, he was telling us that only when your compassion reaches to such a height, then you can do these things physically, otherwise do them mentally. Okay, this is about the protection. Very good. What next? Yes.
Like if you have guests at home and they want like KFC to be ordered through you, so how to like refuse?
Okay, this is a complicated question. It's a complicated question and a complicated guest. Right? Okay, anyone who likes to give some suggestions to Siddhartha? So Siddhartha is a little worried. He's seeking advice. What advice would you give?
She can boldly tell them that I will not go into order. If you want, you can order with your phone.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I am a vegetarian. And
I'm
I don't
vegetarian. I
promote,
cannot even.
non-vegetarian. And first of all, I don't entertain anybody in my house eating non-vegetarian. That is the first thing. But still, they want to insist. You phone from your mobile phone, you can order.
Don't use my mobile.
I don't use my mobile phone.
I'm not.
And eat outside the home.
Huh?
Eat outside the home also.
No, that will be too much.
Okay, so if you're so keen on the KFC, right, you ordered yourself, right? I don't entertain these
And you
things.
pay the bill.
Number one, and the Shamji is even more extreme. He would say that you must go to eat it outside, not in the house. Any more advice? Any more advice?
Make soya.
Huh?
Soya tastes like meat.
Okay, then the Rahulji will, yes, okay, don't worry, I'll buy that, and he'll order the soya chicken. And pretend as though like he's mistaken his subject. Okay, wow, this is similar. How's it?
Really like chicken.
But you didn't eat
Yeah.
kima.
You ate kima, no?
Soya kima.
In Mongolia, once when I was in Mongolia, the last time I was in Mongolia, so there I asked for vegetarian food in a good restaurant. There's certain food, and there's a meat, and I thought it is a very good hotel, so therefore for sure this may be fake meat, not real meat. It tasted meat. Then I asked the waitress, what do you call it? Waiter, saying that this is meat. And the waiter was very smart. There was a lady, she was very smart, and no matter what I say, he will not be convinced. She went into the kitchen and brought that packet, the mock meat, right? And the picture, everything's there. She showed this. This is what we served you. Right? Okay. So this is also one possibility. So generally speaking, there are two things: immediate measure and the long-term measure. Right? We cannot convert everybody into vegetarian right now. Right? So this is okay. So one would be that. Right? One would be that, okay, I never ordered KFC from KFC, thing from the KFC. I never ordered, right? In fact, right, I never ordered it. Okay. And then Niraji, is there anyone who ordered the KFC like this? Make it unnecessarily complicated. No saying no. No saying no. Make it unnecessarily complicated. Right? Oh yeah, my brother earlier he came, then he was talking about KFC, something like this, and I told him that, this is pure vegetarian zone, my place, right? So I really, do you know how to order it? Right? Actually, it's very big. They press the number and it goes there, but you're not making it unnecessarily complicated. And the person will get a message that, okay, she's very strict vegetarian, she does not entertain this thing. Then the person may say that, okay, we sit on the drum burrito. No, I'm looking for some ways. You should order another way. You should order another way, but still making it very complicated. Not saying no, right? I'm looking for some ways. I'm asking Niraji. If it's not there, then I'll check with Surajji. Make it even more complicated because he's saying the opposite, right? He will say, go yourself, right? Surajji, and then Shubhangaji, and then finally the Narimanji, right? Okay, then the person, okay. So to be vegetarian, this is the complication, like this. So then Hindi, that just make it unnecessarily complicated, right? This is the immediate short-term measure. The long-term measure is that then you talk to Niraji. Niraji, right? Niraji, I'm vegetarian, and my friends, my brother's my sister is very sensitive. She knows about me being vegetarian, and then she always takes her children outside for non-veg food, right? Just tell you every you're telling the other person, right? There are so many ways. And then, so in my case, I tell my friends, people around, that I'm very sorry. I have no objection. Okay, one thing is that if somebody brings chicken or something in my house, not in a way that, oh, he's very flexible, he's very, so there, if somebody brought it, then it has already crossed the extreme. So there, if you say that no, take it out, it's very offensive, right? So then, what you can say is that, okay, I'm vegetarian, I'm not really totally against non-veg. You make the other person comfortable. I'm not totally against non-veg. I always tell people that to be aggressively vegetarian, right, to demonize the non-veg, I disagree with them, so the person feels comfortable. And meanwhile, the person also knows that you're vegetarian, right? And then slowly, right? Okay, so basically, this fridge is a peaceful fridge. Peaceful fridge means that no meat goes in, right? Jokingly, actually, it's true, right? You are telling the truth, send a message, but you do in a joking way. This is peaceful fridge, like this. Okay, there are many ways. Yeah. Okay.
Dharma.
Then the generosity of the dharma. Okay. So the point is that so these exercises, these practices, we should be creative. So another way would be, for example, say the terrorists. You have seen many of the photos sent by the terrorists where the person is about to be executed, right? So just imagine, you can creatively think about this scenario and imagine you go there, right? If you're more courageous, you go there alone, mentally. You go there alone. If you're not so courageous, you bring with you some soldiers, 20, 30 soldiers with you with a machine gun and so forth. You go there and tell the terrorists, release person, you have to release this, right? And say if you can, okay, extreme side I will tell later. Otherwise, you release the prisoner, what do you call it? Hostage. You release this hostage, and the hostage meet with the mother, father, brother, sisters, wife, children, whatever. So happy. And then you also say let the terrorists know the fact that what you're doing is not good, right? Because most of these terrorists, they are indoctrinated by a mastermind. Not that they did it on their own. They're indoctrinated by the masterminds. So now you undo what was indoctrinated by telling them, and the person minds it, you take the terrorist also with you, right? This is one way. Another way is, again the same thing as before, just mentally talk to the terrorists and say that if you really have to kill somebody, kill me, right? And let go the other person. So that's mental dream. So mental still is very powerful, right? You feel it unbearably painful, right? Then imagine that he's shooting you like this. Then what's the feeling? That you feel that I cannot bear it. I cannot bear it. When you really feel that you can bear it, the self-centered attitude is affected. So these are exercises. You're getting it? These are very. If you don't do these exercises, self-centered attitude will forever bully us. Forever bully us, right? Yes.
If you're saying about generosity of protection, then if you are a soldier,
Yes.
okay, so I mean, soldier is a human being and he definitely has a compassion, but as a duty he has to protect the boundaries, the country. then how do we, you know? think
Okay,
of it?
so this is again another the serious matter, right? Okay, Vipinji, can you promise me to ask this in the end
And today or?
today?
Okay.
Good, right? Because I want a little bit of flow, right? And these questions are there, bound to be there. Questions, very tricky questions can be there, and if you can bring up these very tricky questions, right? Both of us, we are learning the skillfulness, right? Skillfulness, and through the skillfulness, finally, the gadi should happen, right? Okay. So now the what? Generosity of dharma. Generosity of dharma. So now, so that's how what we did. That's how we did. What we did it is that somebody has a life threat. You release that person. That same person can meet with another life threat next time. Yes. Right? For example, somebody's kidnapped, a child is kidnapped, and then they ask for ransom. Right? 20 lakhs, whatever, you give the ransom, the release for the next maybe 1-2 months, again kidnapped. Can happen, yes, no? The same child can be again kidnapped. Okay, so there, it is not a permanent solution. What we have done thus far, it's just a temporary solution. What's the permanent solution? The permanent solution is to give dharma. Right? Why these? For example, why the poverty is happening? Because of not engaging in generosity. Right? So teach how to practice generosity. Right? And all these fears, anxiety, stress and so forth, why these things are happening? Because of harming others. Teach them how not to harm others. How to teach how not to harm others? Teach them four seals. 4 seals of the Buddha's teaching as a part of practice of renunciation. To renounce, what is renunciation? To renounce?
Miseries.
Miseries, you're getting it? So therefore, to let them renounce all the fears completely for good, you have to teach them the Dharma. So external factors, thus far we have tried to avoid external factors for them, so that they are protected. But protecting from the external factors, this is just a temporary solution. This is just respite. They are not the ultimate solution. Ultimate solution, we have to get rid of the internal factors. How to get rid of internal factors? We have to teach them how to get rid of the internal factors. So, what's internal factor that attract the miseries? Self-grasping ignorance, then giving rise to afflictions, then giving rise to contaminant karmas, right? We have to teach them how to stop these. So what are we going to teach so that they will stop all these causes? What are we going to teach? The 4 seals, the teaching on the renunciation. So the first teaching, again, as you breathe out, imagine that you breathe out the nectars, wildlife and so forth. They meet with them in the form of the Aramanjushri, Buddha Shakyamuni Aramanjushri, and the Vajrapani, Aravalokiteshvara, right? And then give them teachings on the 4 seals. With the 4 seals, guarantee the internal factor is removed. You're getting it? Once the internal factor is removed, they meet with any external factors, they will not be affected, the fear will not arise in them. You're getting it? Okay, this is, we are tackling the inner, the factors, right? Okay, so this one. What's next?
Okay, sure. Are we allowed to give such teachings, like we are just on the path and...
Okay, so teachings, don't think that, okay, teachings
even
again,
sharing...
okay, say teachings, right? Teachings. Okay, are we allowed to give teachings? What do you mean teaching? Teaching is sit on a throne, right? Nicely, people make frustrations. This is just a superficial meaning of teaching. What's real teaching? Sharing. Let other person know what other person doesn't know. This is teaching. So this can happen just with 1 person, with 2 persons, with 3 persons. Mother can teach. The best teacher could be your mother, father. Right? What we have learned. For example, say the Ladakhi young boys and girls, generally speaking, right? When they see tiny insects, the first thing they will say is Ningje. How do you say this Ningje in Ladakhi word? Ningje is compassion.
I haven't said that.
Oh, okay.
We said Dikparik.
Dikparik. Right? In Tibetan is Ningje. Ningje means compassion. Dikparik is, right, be mindful of the negativities. Right? Amazing. These are the culture. When did you learn this? Who taught you? One guru taught you? In a sitting throne? Taught you that? Who taught you? Your parents taught you. That is the Dharma. It's not necessary that, you should sign up for a big retreat, big teaching, right? And passport issued.
But still, we won't be able to skillfully do that like a teacher. No, 4 seals is like a technical, like you taught, it's very technical.
Huh?
Like when we'll be sharing 4 seals, it will be like.
Okay.
Let's
say the professors. Professors taking all these professors came from which planet? Huh? Professors, they must be in age 40s, 50s. They came from age 30s, right? And then in these age 30s, lecturers, not professors then, lecturers, assistant professors, they come from where? 20s, from the college. And these college students came from where? Schools. Schools came from where? Kindergarten. What did they know, kindergarten children? Right? This is how they grow. So we have to grow old. Don't think that, right, oh, I'm sitting, I'm always signing up for retreats. Right? So, signing up for retreat, meanwhile you can teach others. No need to have the labels. Right? No need to have the labels. If, for example, say somebody as a teacher or without a label, with a poster so beautifully designed by the Sharmadiji, right? Sharmadi's beautiful poster, right? Without these things, then if you just come, where's the poster, right? If the poster is not there, I'll not come, right? These are terrible. The person does not know the meaning of the Dharma. Although teaching Dharma, but does not know the Dharma. The real Dharma is any message passed on the other person. If you teach the other person in a formal setting, if the person is benefited, do it that way. In a formal setting, if it does not help, do it in an informal setting. The person should be benefited. Right? That is Dharma. Okay, so what is next? Bodhichitta. Now, not only that, the beings, they want to get rid of the fears. To get rid of the fears completely, what did you teach?
Renunciation.
You taught the renunciation. How? By teaching the 4 seals. Very good. Now, not only that, they should be got rid of the fear. Getting rid of the fear completely is known as
Fearlessness.
Nirvana. Right? So I've already given answer to Elaine G's question, right? How the Nirvana equates fearlessness. The Nirvana means, in Tibetan it is Dachumpa. No, the Tharpa. Tharpa means liberation. You are liberated from fears. You are liberated from all fears. Okay, so the fearlessness is Nirvana. So now you've already given Nirvana to the other people, to the beings. Not only Nirvana, beings also require what? Infinite happiness. Say, if your child, somehow if you have a capacity to make your child a professor in what?
Physics.
A professor in physics. If you have a capacity to make your child not only a professor of physics, but also Nobel laureate in physics, right? Then what will you do? You first make the child professor once he or she becomes a professor in physics. Okay, I know I can easily make you a Nobel laureate, but not that's good enough for you. Will you stay there, or you try to make the child even to be the Nobel laureate? What will you do? You will give the best. So because that you love all the beings so much, not only the nirvana, you will also think of giving full enlightenment, right? Infinite happiness. How to give the infinite happiness? What gives them the infinite happiness? Bodhichitta. You're getting it? So you imagine that again you breathe out and the bodhichitta is given. Bodhichitta is given, and then the nectars, the virtues, they all turn into, Aravalokiteshvara, Aramanjushri, Aravajrapani, and so forth, right? And then transform into, say, the Buddha Shakyamuni, then the Guru Nimalse, and all these enlightened beings. Then they go to teach the Bodhichitta, then all the beings they learn about Bodhichitta, and then they start feeling the infinite happiness. Very good. What next?
Wisdom of emptiness.
Wisdom of emptiness. Okay. What is this for now? Now the nirvana is obtained? Infinite happiness obtained? Now why do we need to have the wisdom of emptiness? Anyone? Right? How many things are to be given? 3, 4. 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1. Number 3 is redundant, right?
Yeah.
Maximalist redundancy. Is it redundant or this is must? Why must? How must? Now the goal is accomplished. Nirvana is given, Buddha is given. So what else? Anyone? 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 Anyone?
This is inactive and seeds, because even if it's given...
So the Buddhahood, you see, if the Buddha says inactive seeds there. Wow, that's terrible.
Just by breathing out, it cannot be... It's not so simple just by breathing out. You can breathe out to me and...
No, see, even this also breathing out. Third one's also breathing out, you breathe out, then give wisdom emptiness, same is breathing out. Okay, what is the answer? Okay, renunciation, bodhicitta, these two are aspirations. These two are aspirations, not the actual means. These two are the aspirations, right? Aspirations, with a very powerful aspirations, then they will look for the remedies. The remedies to wisdom of emptiness. Right? Remedies. Then you give the wisdom of emptiness. The people are receptive now. Yes, I want to be freed of all the fears. What can I do? What can I do? Don't worry. Learn wisdom of emptiness. They are so receptive to learn wisdom of emptiness. And I want to become Buddha. I want infinite happiness. I want to benefit all beings. What should I do? Practice wisdom of emptiness. Right? So the two aspirations will the goals of the two aspirations will be accomplished by the goals of the two aspirations will be accomplished by the wisdom of practice of the wisdom of emptiness. You're right. So the first two teachings are they're meant to inspire the people in the renunciation and the bodhicitta. Once two aspirations are accomplished, then the two goals of the two aspirations will be actually achieved by the wisdom of emptiness. Okay. And then the wisdom of emptiness, say if you want to, just say your child, you have the capacity to make the child a professor, and you can make the child a professor, say in 5 years or in 10 years, you have the choice. So within how many years you want to make the child a professor, and you have the choice that you can do it both ways, either within 5 years, within 10 years. Within 5 years. So for that you have to expedite the path. So to expedite the path, the teaching on the non-dual wisdom of the bliss and emptiness. That is the one which expedites. It has no extra teaching, it is simply to expedite the path to infinite happiness. Okay, so that is a step number 5, right? Okay. So now they say, Sharmani, tell me 4:30 then? 4:30 tea time. Then what we do is that we can have half an hour tea break. Again, we'll come back for the class. So class we will have for about, not really class, I would say that the meditation on the the 9 steps, right? Taking, giving, taking, all these things we will do here in the meditation. Okay. Otherwise, you learn this, and then anyway, I personally, I learned it, but I never did it with my teacher together sitting, right? You have to do it yourself. Okay, I went there to a virtual Dharma center, we learned it, but I don't know how to do it, right? We never did it together, right? This is no excuse. Whether we do it together or not, we have to do it ourselves. Because we have only learned how to do them, but we're going to do it. When we're going to do this, okay, that will be helpful, right? Okay. In my case, I don't remember having done this in actual sitting, and my teacher giving me this, the guided meditation. I never did it, right? Once I got the lessons, then I started doing myself. Okay, so we're finished with step 5. What's next?
Actual exchange.
Actual exchange of self and others. Okay, so there.
Sir, I want you to know that this wisdom of not even wisdom of bliss and happiness. Will you be elaborating or saying something?
Oh,
Yeah, I want.
wow, Nariman, she is very special.
No, sorry.
Okay, so Nariman is asking, what exactly is this wisdom of the non-dual wisdom of bliss and emptiness, right?
Bliss and emptiness.
Okay. So this is, okay, I'll just give you a very quick, sharing. Very quick, very brief, very quick. Say, our true nature, the true nature of mind, the true nature of mind is very blissful. I'm just giving you a clue. The true nature of mind is very blissful. You're getting it? The blissful, yet with the bliss, there's one problem. With the bliss, we can easily get drowned, sucked by the bliss, and then we can feel attached to it. You getting it? So, to counteract that is the other side. What's the other side? Emptiness. Even this bliss is also empty. So that will stop us from falling into the bliss. The bliss is there. The bliss, we will not drown by the bliss because of the wisdom of emptiness there, going together, right? So this bliss will make you not tired. This bliss will make you never feel tired. You're getting it? So tired means unpleasant feeling comes. Bliss is the opposite of unpleasant feeling. You're getting it? So with the very pleasant feeling all the time, that makes you keep working, keep going. And then why it does not suck you down is because of the wisdom of emptiness. These two things, with this, when will you succeed? When will you succeed? Let's say, somebody finds, say Niraji, what was your topic when you were in college? What subject?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineer, right? Okay, let's say the engineering people do they do PhD?
Some do, but I
Some do, let's say, some do. Okay, there are two students who are doing PhD in the mechanical engineering. And one has a tremendous passion and the other doesn't have any passion. Right? Because the parents ask the child to do, you must do engineering, you must do, because the two parents are engineer. Right? And the two parents are the medical doctors, they will tell the child you do medical. And the parents are lawyer, they will make the child lawyer. Generally speaking. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes, that is what happened. Many problems are there, right? Okay, so the child is doing mechanical engineering PhD because the parents said you have to do PhD in mechanical engineering. And the other is doing out of passion. Okay, which of the two do you think will be able to finish the PhD faster?
Passion.
The one with passion and faster and more effective, right? Faster and more effective. Why? Why faster? Why the other person taking long time?
Passion.
No, why the other person is taking longer time? Because of the passion?
Disinterested.
Least interested, no interest there. When the interest is not there, then it's so unpleasant feelings there. When the interest is not there, pleasant feelings not coming. And the feelings drive you, yes? We learned this. Feelings decide all the movements. Right? So there's no energy that drives the person into this. So whereas for the one with the passion, there's tremendous the energy and happiness coming when doing it. So that makes the person move so fast. Right? So the bliss is the one, pleasant feeling, that drives you to work for the sentient being so effectively. And then meanwhile, that it does not suck you down. The wisdom mountains will keep check of that. So these two things. So that will expedite the path. Right?
I have to remind you also, what exactly is true nature of mind? If it's here. I have to remind my question.
What exactly is
Is
the
it true nature of mind?
Is this a question?
I have to remind you.
Is this a question?
That's the answer, he just said.
Yeah,
bliss.
so. It's covered.
Okay, if you think this answer, I'm happy.
No, it's not. I'm just saying if you would like to address
Okay,
that
now
question
let's finish this. First, let's finish this part. Okay, so now the what?
Duality of bliss and
That is done. What? Actual exchange of self and others. Okay, with step 1 through to step 5, we have been successful. Then step 6, there's nothing really special there. What we should be doing is that we have to mentally, right? Mentally, we have to think, okay, now, finally we see that with the self-centered attitude, I'm always the loser. With the other cherished mind, I'm always the winner, right? So it is so unwise on my part to cherish myself and to ignore, to be oblivious to others. This is so unwise, even for my own benefit, even for my own infinite happiness. I have to cherish others. Without cherishing others, infinite happiness is not coming, and I crave for infinite happiness, right? So it is the wisest thing to do is to embrace others. Then imagine that finally this self-centered attitude, this is a demon. This is a demon. This is a demon. For example, if you have a tumor somewhere, tumor inside the tumor, and then you have all these problems, cough, then the vomiting, fever, then the weight loss, all this happening, and you know that because of the tumor, they say that I must remove this tumor, I must remove this tumor. This tumor you see is like your enemy, right? The moment you get a very good doctor, the best doctor in India or in the world to do the surgery on you, and the success rate of the doctor is 100%. 100%. Then what would be your feeling? Very happy or apprehensive to remove this tumor? Very happy. Guaranteed that the moment that is removed, this doctor 100%, the success rate is 100%. And this will be removed. Once that's removed, all my unnecessary problems will come to an end. You'll be so happy, right? So, like this tumor, we should be able to see the self-centered attitude as this tumor. As this tumor, right? As long as it is there, I will not be happy. I will never get the infinite happiness. I will not be happy. As long as it is there. As long as it is there, with self-centered, self-grasping ignorance, these two will invariably take me to all the miseries. This is the demon. This is what we have to keep in mind. Keep in mind. And this journey is not just one life journey. This journey is not one life journey. This is it can be many lifetime journey. And yet, in this world, 7 billion human beings, how many of them identify this self-centered attitude is the tumor? How many of them identify this?
Less than 1%.
Not even 1%, 0.0001, right? Say according to the modern culture, what is taught, that this self-centered attitude, without this we cannot function. This is what we learn, right? Now we are learning something different, that which can actually give rise to the ultimate happiness. So this journey is not only one lifetime journey, it can be many lifetime journey. Yet it's extremely the most meaningful journey. Because that now we have met this journey, we have come across this journey, right? This life that we have, say you have another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, whatever life span that you have, this is so precious. This is so precious that more effectively I undertake this journey in this life, next life meeting with this journey and then continuing with this journey is going to be very likely, great likelihood, right? So therefore this life, whatever lifetime that I'm left with, that is so precious, I should not waste it. I should not waste it, right? The same, even the parents, your family. So say this journey, once you identify this journey, then for your children, for your husband, for your wife, for your parents, for your friends, right? How to skillfully share this. And even if you cannot share this, by means of your example, you as the example, serving as the example, let other people, they see something, let them see something, right? And then yourself, don't waste your life, right? Don't say just taking care of a child, say very complicated child, very complicated husband, very complicated wife, right? Always taking care of this, taking care of this. Take care. Take care. The point is that other person doesn't listen to you and your time is wasted. This is totally meaningless. Your time is also very precious. Your time is very precious. In fact, if the other person is not listening to you, the best thing to do is, from your side, do good. Do something so the other person will see you what you're doing. And not only that other person is benefited in this life, in the next life also the other person will be benefited. So this much of benefit, even in the best of the family members, where this journey has not started, they cannot give this benefit to the children. Although they love the children so much, children love them so much, they want to give the best, but they don't know what to give. The best thing that they give is what? Money. And maybe, say, conventionally we speak about, oh, this is a good family, cultured family. So that culture is passed down, but not this journey. And at least in your case, although your children, your wife, your husband, they may not be receptive to listen to what you have to say, but by your example, what you're doing, right? Very calm, poised, where anger can easily agitate, be erupted, you maintain control. They're actually seeing this. They're actually seeing this change within you. They may not verbally tell you that, wow, you have changed. Amazing. Particularly family members, they will not tell like this. Wow, you have changed a lot. Amazing. We really rejoice. They will not tell you. But mentally they admit, wow, a big change has occurred. Suresh, a big change has occurred. Amazing. Right? So I'm just joking. So this is reality. So many people, in fact, I'm so happy. Why I'm saying this is that with all these kind of interactions, retreats, the people I come to know, so when they give me the feedback, this is what I get, the feedback that I get from their family members. Right? When I meet with the family members, so when I meet them alone, families alone, they give me the feedback about the husband, the wife, the children. Oh, such a change has occurred. Right? We are so happy. All these feedback we get is very encouraging. So this is fun. The point is that you have your life. This life, we, not just you, we, including myself, we have come across an extremely precious journey. Extremely precious journey, right? Say, if you are meeting this first time from this Vajradhatu center, then say whatever age you are, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever age, so till this life, and today, now this beginning of a new era for me, which is so precious. You're getting it? So precious. Now, my life, I should not waste my life. It's so precious, right? This life is so precious because I met it 7 billion human beings. How many people met this journey? So less. I'm just one of the very, very, very handful of the people who met with this journey. It's amazing. I'm so lucky. Feel the joy. Feel the jubilance of your having met with this journey. And then feel the joy over your remaining part of life. Right? This is so precious. Okay, with this mind, finally, no matter what, my job is to crush these two tumors within me. Self-grasping and self-centered. This is my job, right? And in whatever capacity I can do that, I'll do it. So for the self-centered attitude, the moment I embrace others more, the more the self-centered attitude is crushed. I'll do it, right? This is how we should do this step number 6. That I will actually exchange. If I'm given choice to embrace others or to embrace myself, I will embrace others, right? Because embracing myself, feeding my self-centered attitude, this is the one which brings only miseries to me, right? Thus far, if this self-centered attitude, when it comes to us, it comes in the facade of guarding you. It comes in the facade of giving you strength. If it really guards us, if it really gives us strength, right? You have given the opportunity for this to prove it. Since time immemorial till now, what's the outcome? Outcome is only misery. So this is the greatest of the deception of the self-centered attitude. Henceforth, I will not say yes to this, I will say no to this all the time. Right? I'm disillusioned by this. This is how we should think of. And they say, the moment I get the opportunity to embrace others, I'll embrace it. How to say no to self-centered attitude? By embracing others. The more I embrace others, the more I show expression of love and affection towards others, more I say no, crush the self-centered attitude. Okay, so there you make a very strong commitment here that henceforth I'll embrace others, I'll embrace others. Self-centered attitude, it is only good at one thing, to make me unhappy, to make me miserable, right? And that I don't want. I will never embrace this self-centered attitude. This is a commitment that will be made. This is number 6. What's number 7? A special recollection of the kindness of others. Okay, this is extremely important point. Okay, so what should we be doing? So how many more days now? 2 more days. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay. Or else, what we can do is that. Okay, or else what we can, because this step will take little time. What is this step? A special recollection of the kindness of others, right? Okay, this will take a little time. I think the actual practice will do tomorrow evening, right? So we will take half an hour tea break, then we will do the remaining 3, how many steps?
2.
3 steps, including 7, 8, 9.
Okay, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Right?
Including these 3, but you are not going to take today the 7th step, no? Tomorrow you take 7th.
No. Today. He said the actual meditation is today.
Plan changed.
Okay, half an hour tea break.
Yes.
Then we will do step number 7, 8, 9. Right? Okay. And the actual meditation we'll do tomorrow evening. Okay. Yata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, we'll come back at 5:10.